Hello, friends, and welcome to Jewels of Truth. My name is Daniel Fontenot, and today we have a question. Is America the image of the beast? This is an article by A.T. Jones in the Advent Review and Sabbath Herald of March 20th, 1900. I think this is a question that we should consider, especially today. Let's see what Brother Jones has to say. What is the beast? What is the image of the beast? These two powers are described in the 13th chapter of Revelation. But since the 13th chapter is but the complement of the 12th must be considered in connection with the 13th in order to obtain the best view of what is the beast and what his image. And this is something that I have said for a long time, because there are many in the other churches that when they speak about the beast, if they even speak about the beast at all, if they speak about the Antichrist, if they speak about the mark of the beast, they seem to only, center there in Revelation 13. But you can't understand Revelation 13 fully unless you understand chapter 12. The two are connected. Actually, 12, 13, and 14. But especially 12 and 13, you cannot understand what the mark of the beast is until you know who the beast is. And you cannot understand who the image of the beast is unless you understand who the beast is. It's like, a person that is looking in the mirror. You have the person and you have the mirror, and you have the reflection, the image of the beast. At the opening of the 12th chapter, there is seen a woman clothed with the sun, the moon under her feet, and on her head a crown of 12 stars, who brings forth a man-child, who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron. And her child was caught up unto God and to his throne. That man-child is Jesus Christ. And there are a number of texts which I will not read for sake of time, but you can look them up. They're in Psalm chapter 2, verse 9, in Revelation 19, verses 15 and 16, and Luke 24, verses 50 and 51, and Mark 16, verse 9, and Acts chapter 7, verse 55, and Hebrews 8, verse 1. This woman is nothing else than the church of God, in her beauty, fair as the moon and clear as the sun. That's in Revelation 12, verse 1. And there stood before the woman a great red dragon to devour her child as soon as it was born. This dragon, in his own proper person, is declared to be that old serpent called the devil and Satan. But Satan in this world works through instrumentalities. His instrumentalities are men, and chiefly combinations of men in world powers. What power was it then which was Satan's instrument in his endeavors to destroy Christ as soon as he was born? Who was it? It was Herod. But who was Herod? He was more than simply a person. He was king of the Jews and of Judea. And yet he was more than that, for he became king only by a decree of the Roman Senate, upon the special advocacy of Octavius Caesar and Mark Antony. And he could not have been king for a day in Judea unless he had been supported by the mighty power of Rome. Thus, Herod, in his place of power, was only the creature, the representative of the Roman power. Therefore, the Roman power in the world was the instrumentality that Satan used in his endeavors to destroy Christ as soon as he was born. However, that attempt failed. Yet Satan never rested until he had, so far as possible, and so far as himself and this world were concerned, destroyed the Lord Jesus, until he had crucified him upon the cross, and had buried him out of the world in a tomb sealed with the Roman seal. And it was by the Roman power that he did all this, through Pilate, the Roman governor. But even in this he failed, because from death and the sealed Roman tomb the man-child was caught up unto God and to his throne. Then Satan turned all his endeavors through his world instrumentality, the Roman Empire, against the woman, which is the church, and persecuted the woman which brought forth the man-child. This he did while that Roman power continued. And all the while that that power did continue, it did so identified with Satan, who is preeminently the dragon, and so entirely imbued with his spirit that this power itself is called the dragon. Yes, pagan Rome was so identified with Satan that it is called the dragon. You find this in Revelation 12, verses 3 and 4. But Rome, in that phase, pagan Rome, fell. That power, in that form, passed away. And it was succeeded by that which in the book of Revelation is called the beast. Okay? The beast succeeded the Roman Empire. Accordingly, it is written, "And I stood upon the sand of the sea." He's quoting here from Revelation 13, verses 1 through 8. "And I saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion, and the dragon gave him his power, and his seat, and great authority. And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed. And all the world wondered after the beast, and they worshipped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast, and they worshipped the beast, saying, Who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him? And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 42 months. And he opened his mouth in blasphemy against God, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle and them that dwell in heaven. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints, and to overcome them, and power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations, and all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world. Revelation 13, verses 1 through 8. Notice that the dragon gave to this beast, which is the beast, his power and his seat and great authority. Now, it is true that the power of pagan Rome and the seat of pagan Rome, which was the city of Rome, and the authority of pagan Rome passed over to this power, which succeeded pagan Rome. And more than this is true. It is true that the dragon preeminently is Satan. And in this it is true that Satan gave to the beast his power and his seat and great authority. Another passage in the book of Revelation referring to Rome speaks of it as where Satan's seat is, Revelation 2, verse 13. And thus the power, the seat, and the authority of the beast are all received from Satan, even as the beast received the power and the seat and the authority that had belonged to the phase of Rome that had passed away. So, pagan Rome had the spirit of the dragon, Satan, and pagan Rome passed away but it gave its power and seat and great authority to this beast. And this new phase of Rome, in its worldwide power, Satan still used in his persecution of the woman. And to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place where she is nourished for a time and times and half a time from the face of the serpent. Revelation 12:14. And the beast, the great world instrument of that old serpent, that is the devil and Satan, made war with the saints and overcame them, and power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations, and this power was given him to continue 42 months, a time and times and half a time, 1,260 days. Revelation 13 verse 7 and 12 verses 6 and 14. This period, this times and a half, began in AD 538 and continuing 1,260 years reached to AD 1798. Now, of course, we're using the day for a year principle here to come up with the 1,260 years. It began in AD 538 because in that year was rooted out the last of the 3 powers that were plucked up by the roots before the establishment of the papacy, not as a church, but as a world power, and ended in 1798 when the papacy was led into captivity by the capture and imprisonment of Pope Pius VI under the order of the French Directory. Then comes in the rise and the description of the image of the beast. As it is written, quote, "And I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon. And he exerciseth all the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast, which had the wound by a sword and did live. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Revelation 13:11-17. And this power, which is here called the image of the beast, speaking as a dragon and using all the power of the first beast, is in its turn and place used by Satan. Okay? The great dragon, still in persecuting the church, as it is written, "And the dragon was wroth with the woman, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of God and have the testimony of Jesus Christ." Revelation 12:17. So you have the Roman power, the pagan Rome, the Roman Empire. It was used by Satan to persecute the church of God. Then the papacy came along and it persecuted the true church. Now this third one, the image of the beast, is also going to persecute God's church. Okay? And this brings us definitely to the third angel's message, because the image of the beast compels all to worship the beast, that is, the first beast, and to receive his mark. And the third angel's message warns against against worshiping the beast and his image and against receiving his mark. Satan uses these powers in his wrath against the remnant of the church, which particularly stirs his wrath by keeping the commandments of God and having the testimony of Jesus Christ. And the third angel's message in saving men from the worship of the beast in his image calls them all to the keeping of the commandments of God and the faith of Jesus. This is all done in the time of the remnant of the church, which is the last of the church. And the third angel's message closes with the coming of the Lord and the victory over the beast and his image by those who have received the third angel's message. Now, from the description given in the Word, anyone can see that the beast is the papacy. And in the nature of things, the image of the beast is the image of the papacy. What then, in a word, is the papacy? It is a union of the church and the state, with the church supreme and using the power of the state for her despotic and persecuting purposes. Mark that. Mark that, dear friends. The union of the church and the state is always with the church supreme. It's ruling over the state, actually, and using the power of the state for her despotic and persecuting purposes. That is the papacy. And the beast was formed by the union of the fallen church with the mighty world power of Rome. Mark that. The beast was formed by the union. The papacy was formed by the union of the fallen church with the mighty world power of Rome. In the nature of things, therefore, the image of the beast would be another great and notable instance of the fallen church uniting with a mighty world power and using that power of the state in the likeness of the papacy. Where then in the world must the image of the beast be found? Notice that the image of the beast must be, quote unquote, made. For it was said to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast. And the only place where such a thing could be made would have to be in a nation where at first there was no such thing. And since the beast is the union of church and state, and the image of the beast must be made in a nation where, to begin with, there was no such thing, it is perfectly plain that the image of the beast must arise, must be made in a nation where, to begin with, there was no union of church and state. And this order of things, out of which comes the image of the beast, was seen coming up at the end of the 1260 years at the time when the beast was led into captivity. Where then, in 1798, could there be found on earth any nation coming up in which there was no union of church and state? Indeed, where at any time in the history of the world, in the Christian era, has there been a nation planted in which there was no union of church and state? In the United States. And in this alone, of all places on the earth. In 1798, this nation was fully formed and established in order, under its Constitution. On March 4th, 1797, ended the second administration of the nation's first president, and occurred the inauguration of its second president. Thus, in 1798 this nation could be seen coming up to its place among the powers of the earth, since at that time it had become firmly established and moving quietly, safely, and steadily forward in a national career. It's so very clear, dear friends, dear brothers and sisters, that the United States is the image of the beast, or will be the image of the beast. And it was without a union of church and state. The United States was without a union of church and state. The total separation of religion and the state was one of the fundamental principles in the establishment of the nation, and was the just pride of the nation before the world. And this was the only nation on the earth at that time, or in all history since the book of Revelation was written, that did so begin and that had no union of church and state. Accordingly, this nation is the place and the only one in the world where it could be properly said to them that dwell on the earth that they should make a union of church and state, an image of the beast. Consequently, in the United States, in connection with this power as a nation, is the place where the image of the beast must be found. This is so certain that in no other nation are the specifications of the Scripture met at all, while in this nation they are fully met. For though this cannot be further dwelt upon just now, it is the truth, as will abundantly appear, and the image of the beast is already nearly fully formed in this nation. The image of the beast is already nearly fully formed in this nation. And if that was so during the time of A.T. Jones in the year 1900, how much more so is this true in our day, in 2024? Thus, the 12th chapter of Revelation is a sketch of the powers used by Satan against the church of God from the first advent of Christ unto his second. These powers are three: the dragon, the beast, and the image of the beast. And these three are pagan Rome, papal Rome, and American Rome. So there you have it. When the United States of America unites church and state by enforcing a national Sunday law, it will, by that act, form the image of the beast, the image of the Roman Catholic Church. If you agree with this presentation, we would encourage you to tap that like button so that it can be sent far and wide to those who are hungering for truth in these last days. Or maybe you want to share this message with your friends by tapping that share button. And if you have any comments, then we would encourage you to place your comments or questions at the bottom of this video. And if you haven't subscribed, we would highly encourage you to do so. Thank you for joining us here at Jewels of Truth. We hope and pray that you will have a good day in the Lord.